Hey, I'm so glad to see you. Today we're going to talk about kind of the push and pull part of prosperity mindset. And many of you kind of come in at the same time where you start working your why, right? You start looking at your life, you start putting all the pieces together, and it starts to work. And it starts to work. And you're like, oh my gosh, this is like a little much. So this when you start to understand the push and pull, every time you are pushing forward on a goal or things that you're doing, there's going to be another point there that will pull you back. And that pull back is really when we start to get scared. You go, oh, wow, this is like too much harder. Or I'm pushing too far, I have to roll back. And a lot of times that roll back is your old patterns going, hey, you're leaving us. We don't like that. So you have to keep pushing, and you have to keep pushing in a way that is very different than the way you've pushed in the past, which is that if you are not focused in on that gravitational pull of grounding, um, pushing forward and all these other things won't work it, right? I mean, prosperity is action energy. This is energy that expands. It is the width of our life. And when we focus in on that, it's a lot of action, but it is building action that's sustainable. And so a lot of people can really push forward and make a lot of progress right away, but then something happens and they get pulled back into the old ways. And they kind of talk about it as falling off the wagon or whatever. And that's not actually what it is. It is that you have to monumental meets modest. So when you are looking to make a monumental change in your life, it starts with modest means. It starts with these small actions that you're doing every day, the taking the time to do your morning pages, right? Massive things start with very, very modest starts. So that means talking nice to yourself. That means that it is not these heroic, massive changes that you're doing that actually are the stabilization point. It is that you have to keep that gravitational pull at one point of alignment, right? When we say it all starts from here, that's the part that has to be stable and sustainable. So that stable and sustainable is that you have a process, that you have a way to understand your strength, that you have a way to understand what it is that keeps you strong and why. Understanding that why statement, the values work that you're doing, that it's really, this is a chance to really put the overall perspective in from a sustainability from a from a sustainability perspective, right? That look, running 5 miles every morning isn't sustainable for very many people. That's why they're called streakers, right? That somebody who can do a streak of something, that's impressive. The longer the streak, the more impressive it is. It is very difficult to stay in prosperity mindset every single day if you don't have a stabilizing force. And so when we look at this kind of all planetary alignment requires gravity. So when I say to you, you've got to come to that stabilization point, that gravitational pull of your own life. That's the hard part of prosperous mindset. That's the difficult part, is to understand right here, this dot is where you start and why, and the rest of your life manifests out from there. And when the rest of your life feels too big, or like there's too much going on, or I need to pull back, this is too crazy, then you've built it in a way that's not sustainable. And or you're going back to old patterns, and old patterns say, if I'm safer if I stay small. And I'm saying you don't have to stay small. You don't have to be huge either. You have to be whatever it is that you're eligible to be at this time. And eligible is really forcing yourself to look at that perspective very differently. And that perspective is, right, we're going to pull back that arrow because we only have one target. The target is to be well within. The difficult part of that target of us pulling our archer bow back and really focusing in on what that is and then making our shot. That, my friend, is the work of prosperity. So that's the work that you are doing. That's the perspective that you are changing. So be proud of the work that you are doing because it's amazing and it is not without effort. So pushing sometimes means pull, right? The more you're pushing forward in your mindset, the more something is going to pull you back to really get you to do that perspective. So if you haven't watched the video um, on some of the other concepts, they will start to align for you now. So definitely go back through the loop and check out the other videos. If there's a video that's really helpful to you, everyone goes through this, so put it in the chat box because we love to hear what you have to say. All right, have a great week, and I'm really proud of the work that you're doing. It's really monumental. Have a great week.